needed if I have to become a large commercial farmer. I need to pump the water deeper, I need to use solar pumping, or I need to have a bigger valley dam. Right now, I have a tiny little one which I dug using manual labor. It needs even desilting. The labor to desilt it is hard. And this is not only for me, but all the farmers in the district. Hey. We need water, we need more valley dams. At least if we can have one valley dam per village. Or we also have irrigation, but irrigation we have to pump the water from underground, and it's not very far. We can do that. We can use solar pumping, we can use solar irrigation, and that will be very, very helpful.
Welcome yet another edition, and welcome on the Farmers Hub. With me, I'm going to introduce to you this farmer, and you've been asking me many questions. How do you start a big farm? How do you start a farm? Welcome to this program. Continue subscribing, continue liking, ask your questions and your comments. Make sure you smash that bell and you get the notification. And you ask the doctor many questions that you've been asking me, the layman. How do you start a farm? First of all, doctor, you are welcome. And what is your name?
Thank you very much. I am Jole Nyeko, Mrs. Nyeko, or Dr. Jole Nyeko.
Yeah. And what is the name of this farm?
This farm is called Eden Organics Farm Limited. And what we do here, we do cattle farming, we have goats, we have pigs, and any other little things like chicken, but those are for household consumption. Then we also grow food for the animals. We have maize, which is very good both for the cows and the pigs, because the cows, we get silage out of the maize, but for the pigs, we have to do get maize bran, broken maize for the pigs. Then we also grow pasture, the napier, the chloris.
Your name, yeah.
The name of the farm and what we do.
Yeah, you start.
I'm Jole Nyeko, Dr. Jole Nyeko, or Mrs. Nyeko. And here we are at Eden Organics Farm Limited. It is Eden Organics because the food that we grow our own food for our own animals. So we have animals, we have cattle, we have, in the cattle we have both dairy and beef cattle. We do bull fattening. Then we also have goats, and we have piggery as well. And the crops, we grow crops, but the crops we grow are targeted at animals. So they are pasture for the animals. We grow napier, different types of napier. We grow kakamega, we have sugar napier, but we also the most high nutritious pak chong napier, which has high content of protein. Then we also have morato, we have panicum, we have alfalfa, and we have chloris guyana, which is all for the animals. So that's what we do on this farm.
Okay, yes, this is Dr. Jole Nyeko, as you heard it. She's a farmer. She has lots of views to talk about farming. And just continue subscribing, continue liking the Farmers Hub. We are bringing different farmers of importance to teach you, you learn from them what farming is all about. It is not just like you're doing farming, it is having another vision and passion of doing farming. We are not talking about telephone farmers. She's a farmer. You are going to see pictures when she's directly involved in the farming. Back to the point, I'm seeing here a structure. A structure. I may think it is a feedlot.
Yes.
How do you begin this kind of farming? Take us through. How should somebody start this type of farming?
By the way, I should first start off by saying that I'm a doctor, but not medical. I have a PhD in social work, so I'm a social worker.
Good.
My profession is into child care,
Yes.
but I have a passion for farming from childhood. I grew up doing gardening, growing our own food, way back in the 1960s and 1970s. So I've grown up farming, whether small gardens, they are all there. But this one, how do we start this? This is a feedlot where we are sitting. The feedlot idea came in from 2020 when we were trained by a private sector foundation. But before that, I had already put up this shed where we are sitting under. It was my kraal for my local animals, but I wanted them to be in a proper shade so that when it rains, they are sheltered. When it is hot and they come back from the paddocks, they can have where to sleep. I concreted it so that they can sleep in a fairly dry area, dry place. So to start farming, you do not have to first have a lot of money.
Yeah.
You can start buying 1 cow. We actually started buying 2 cows, 6 cows. We would go to the market and select the calves and bring them and grow them until we had many. They were reaching 100 cows. But we were doing it as a passion, not as a business. Like my husband, up to now, he still says for him, farming is a hobby.
Not a business.
Yeah, not a business. But for me, I have moved on. I have moved on now to take it as a business and to get into commercial farming, to get into modernized farming. That's why the kraal has now transformed into a feedlot. A feedlot meaning the animals feed from within, they stay here, they water from here. Behind me, you can see the cans for the water. In front of me, there are wooden structures which will be for the feeds. And there is a place where they rest outside there. They rest. There is a crash where they are taken care of. I have a weighing scale for the animals where they are weighed. Everything is within the area. That's why it becomes different from the usual where you send the animals into the paddocks.
That is the feedlot.
This is a feedlot now. The animals feed from within. That helps them to maintain their weight, to maintain good size. Do they maintain good, soft, tender meat because they are not walking long distances to look for water?
Yes.
The water finds them here. They don't go searching for water. We are the ones who search for the water, ensure that they have water available. When it is rainy season, we have a rainwater tank. They drink clean water from the rain. When it is dry, like now we are talking during dry season, then we pump from underground. So they have clean water all through. So how do you start? As I said, personally, I start small and expect to be growing, to be expanding. Right now, I'm still what they call, I fit into small business enterprises. But give me a few years to go. I am graduating to become large scale. And I want to reach that large scale. And my passion is to become a bigger farmer, not just to remain small, but I am growing. I am growing. And I expect that even other farmers, they will, because now I have the skill. I have been trained.
Yes.
I've been given the skill on how to manage a feedlot, how to grow the pasture, how to manage the pasture, how to store it. You will see our pasture, our hay, which is already stored for the dry season. And we are still making silage to prepare ourselves for feeding our animals during the dry season. It's very important for the farmers to be prepared. You have to prepare for your animals. You prepare yourself, and you have to prepare for your animals. Preparing myself, what do I mean? You have to be available at the farm.
not being a telephone farmer all the time.
Telephone farmer, recently I heard somebody also saying it also works.
Oh.
That it also works. Because now, currently we have Zoom. You can have a video, the farmer can put on the animals and video them and send them to you and tell you, this cow is okay, this is, you see the people milking. But telephone farming is a bit difficult, definitely, because you need to do proper supervision.
Yes.
You need to do on-site supervision. I am usually here, I have my home in the farm, I sleep here. When I am not here, I have somebody who is here, I have a manager who is here, but I ensure that I come regularly. When I spend time without coming, like within last year and up to now, where I have a patient at home, it has kind of slowed down the work. And as we shall talk about when we are looking at challenges, that becomes a challenge. But otherwise, farming is very enjoyable, just because when you have the passion. If you don't have a passion, it is really difficult. It can be challenging.
Yeah, viewers of the Farmers Hub, we are talking to Dr. Jole Nyeko, the passionate farmer. And we are talking about the feedlot structure. How do you start a structure like this? And the do's and don'ts of this type of farming. Because some people have been doing the wrong range, leaving the animals to eat on their own. But for her, she prefers this. Briefly, tell us the do's and don'ts. If I want to start a feedlot, what should I focus on first?
A feedlot will need a very good structure which keeps away rain, which keeps away sunshine, which keeps away mud. So it has to be clean. Clean on the floor, clean on the drinking cans, the places where, for the water must be clean. The food must be clean. Where they have the hay, where they have, the feeding containers must be clean. But, for example, for us who are in the villages, in the rural area, here we are in Kiryandongo district, Chigumba County, Masindi Port sub-county, quite rural, a village called Namiryango. The people don't have all that money to build very complicated structures. I personally do not have a lot of money that I can put up very complicated ones. I have just a simple one which can feed at most 50 animals. Then later, when I pick up and I have funds, then I can expand. So you start with what you can afford. We have used wooden structures. We have used plastic drums, which are for watering. Other farmers who have money, they will have taps which go into every one of the cans. But here we are, we bring in the water. And you must have good fencing around. Here we have used wood fencing to protect the animals from going outside, protect others from coming in. The animals which are not needed should not come in. The animals from the village should not walk in and mix with the ones in the feedlot. So you have to ensure that there is a place, we have a waiting area. When we bring in the animals first time, they enter through the loading rack.
Yes.
They enter, they find the weighing scale, they are weighed. After being weighed, they are kept in a quarantine. They are quarantined, especially to check if they are all healthy, if there is any which needs treatment. Then they are released. In that quarantine area, they are fed, of course, and they are being treated if there is any which has to be treated. After that, they come into the feedlot. What you shouldn't do is, again, as I said, don't keep the place dirty. It needs to be clean. Where we are sitting now, I have just sold off the lot which I had, and I'm waiting now to clean up, resurface the floor, cement it properly, and then repair the wooden pillars which have grown a bit old, and the termites we are fighting termites. So it has to be clean. That's one of the do's. One of the don'ts is also, as I said, don't allow the other animals in the village to mix with your animals.
Yes.
That's the advantage of the feedlot. Your animals are enclosed. So they keep out disease, they keep out ticks. The ticks are plenty. If the animals have to go out in the field and they mix with the other animals in the villages, then be sure to get the ticks. To avoid that, keep yours enclosed, and by the way, keep spraying. We spray every week. Even when they stay within, we still spray them every week. Because if you are not feeding them on the silage which is kept here, and you are cutting the silage from the gardens, then be sure they will come with the ticks. So the silage itself from the napier can come from the field, but it will also have some ticks. So we keep spraying them. That's one of the very, very important issues, and one of the important tasks you must do to ensure that you spray. Of course, we have a problem with the kind of acaricide to use, and most farmers, we have been taught, you can keep changing from one type to another so that the ticks don't get used to one particular one. So you keep changing. Then the other advantage of what you need to do in the feedlot is also to maintain good weight of the animals, so you keep weighing them. We weigh our animals every Friday. Every Friday morning, we weigh them. And we monitor to see whether they are adding on weight or they are losing or they are static.
Yes.
And be sure either of those three can happen. I had the last ones which I released, which I sold off. 1 week, you find they have put on 5 kilograms in a week.
In a week.
Meaning that every day they should put on
1
between
kilo.
0.5 to 1 kilo. Of course, some of them would have put on less than 5, 3, 2. Another week, they have not put on anything. They maintained last week's weight.
What brings that?
I will talk
Feeding?
about it. Another week, they have even lost. And they can lose the amount that they have put on. If they put on 5 kilos this week, next week they can lose the same 5 kilos and they go back. Why? A number of factors, but the major factor is when you change feeds. As soon as you change feeds, these animals, they are, like somebody said, they are animals, they are creatures of habit. If they are used to green pasture, and your green pasture gets finished in the garden, and you bring in the silage which is from the pit or from the bag which you stored in the store, that week they may take time to adjust. If they take some few days to adjust from one to another,
Yes.
in the process, they can either lose the weight or they don't put on. But as soon as they get used, they know we have been feeding on green napier, very nice, very fresh. Oh, they like that one, very fresh one. Even when you start chopping it, they are all waiting. They are really waiting for it. You see them, they are like children waiting for the food, looking at you with very eager eyes as they enjoy it. But let it get finished, and you bring dry matter. They first look at it, and that whole day they can fail. They can refuse to eat it. And in that way, they lose some weight. But as soon as they get used to it, or you mix, then they pick up again. If you put them on silage, they start eating it silage very well. They enjoy it. They like the maize silage especially. That one where it's the maize cob, the maize stems, the maize leaves, all of them cut together. Then you add, even if you add molasses, oh, it becomes sweeter.
Yeah,
they enjoy
sweeter
that.
for them.
They will put on a lot of weight during that week.
So you are saying if you don't feed them good food they want, they limit the weight.
It limits the weight. They don't put on as much as you expect. But the time they have the food they enjoy, they will put on a lot of weight. That's when you can sell them within a very short time. You know, like the bull fattening we are talking about. You get the bulls when they are 1 year old, probably they are like 150 kilos.
Yes.
By the time you keep them for 4 months, they have reached 400 kilograms.
Then you sell your meat.
You sell them off, and it is very good meat, very tender meat, soft, very nice, less fatty. It's not like it has a lot, it's lean, it doesn't have fat, and yet the animal is heavy, it's big, but all that is meat. And it is organic food. That's what I like about it. It is not artificial food you are going to get from anywhere. By the way, our farms, our gardens, apart from the maize garden probably, but the napier, we don't put any artificial fertilizer. We use whatever comes from the manure from the animals is what we power back in the farm. And then we do the mulching with its own grass. Like now where we are cutting the napier, we do the mulching. The food is organic, it's very good. And the animals are also organic animals. So you have very good meat.
I've seen them.
Yes.
So talk about profitability of this venture that I'm seeing you are with much love. Are we seeing, like, just take that picture to those farmers watching you. If someone is yearning to be like you, are we seeing profits? Because everybody understands profit in the other way. You talk about that one briefly, maybe to a small scale and a large scale.
Maybe, okay, I will start with the small scale because that's what I am so far now. Profitability. At this moment, it may not be very profitable when you are just beginning, when you are starting, because you are still putting in whatever resource that you have. And by the time you sell, the money that comes, you may not see that it is a lot because you are still building up like the structures. The structures cost money. Where did I get that money? From pocket, from any other venture, from personal savings, from family resources. That's not easy. You may put in, maybe a year passes, second year passes, and you don't see the money coming. The money that comes, it is little. For those who have milk, they may see money coming in weekly or daily because you are selling milk. I don't have many animals which are milking. The milk which I get is for us to drink. If we sell off, we sell a few liters, and there is a little money, just little that can help buy the acaricides or something. But for the big farmers and also the large-scale farming, which I am also heading to, and my desire and my faith in God is leading me into that, it will be profitable. With the feedlot, my projection, I'm looking at an area where I can buy. Right now I started with 10 bulls. I sold them off. I didn't get much profit because that was really the beginning. But I'm hoping that the time I get the next one, I hope to buy 20. Now sell them off. I should be able to see some profit because I already have the structure. So I don't have a lot of input apart from doing the renovations and the clearing here. I already have water. I already have pasture. There I should start seeing some profit coming. After that, I keep on increasing, reach 30, reach 50. My farm can accommodate up to even 200. This is feedlot 1. This is my original feedlot.
Yes.
The idea is to have feedlot B, feedlot C, feedlot D, different structures. Maybe the paddocks, I will turn them into feedlots. And then I have another land somewhere else where we are going to be growing. We will expand the napier so that the time you have like 200 bulls and you start selling off either monthly or you are selling off quarterly, surely profit will come.
Yeah. Those of you who've been asking me questions about how to run a feedlot, you are saying it is expensive. You should start small. Don't think of something big when you are starting because you've not got an experience of starting this type of farming. But Dr. Jolie is telling you experience, and we've seen it from our farm. Eden Farm is here in Namiryango village. This is Chiriandongo, not Namiryango of Kampala. You should know. You should come and visit this farm and get knowledge because there is a lot of things you should learn from this farm. There's a lot of advice you can take elsewhere and you start your farm. This is a cattle corridor, and we understand this place sometime it has a lot of drought. Yes, you have a feedlot. How do you manage a drought period?
This is a cattle corridor, and it is a very dry place during dry season. The heaviest dry season is December to March. And by January, February, like now, it's very dry. And there is no water, there is no grass. That's why I found the idea of the feedlot very, very helpful, because I had to pump water from underground. The good thing was that after digging 40 feet below, we hit water and were able to get the water. So we pump our own water. Of course, that is also costly because we use a generator to pump the water. I would have loved when I have solar pumping, which would be probably cheaper. But the investment, I didn't have it. So I start with what I have. My principle is starting with what I have. Then growing the pasture itself, so that the animals don't struggle to go and look for grass in the bush. They don't have to go all over the village looking for grass. I have my own grass, I have my own water, and we do our own silage, we do our own haylage. So that helps us to manage in the drought. So we are not affected so much. We don't fear the dry season.
Yeah. Even if it is a dry place, she has told you she fears nothing because there is water. She can pump her water from the underground, then the animals can feed. As you see them feeding right now, they came from grazing, then they are having water, then after they go back on their routine of eating. So maybe finally...
And I just mentioned that those you are seeing are the crossbreeds which are in the paddocks.
Yes.
They are not the bulls which are in the feedlot.
Yeah. Yeah, finally on that, market for the meat. Where do you sell your meat?
At this time, we still have only the local market, the traders within the district who pick the animals and they either slaughter locally or they take to Kampala to the abattoirs. But we are also hoping that in the future, and we already have some contracts coming in where we will have people who will come to buy or who will order for meat, and we can supply meat. We've been supplying pork to Kampala, but we are hoping that sooner or later we'll also be supplying the oil and gas industry because it's not far from us, and we already have some contacts there. So we are hoping that we can have that market, but we are also hoping to have some buyers from a company which will be exporting meat. And we are hoping to network with that company. For example, Sanga Meat Company, we are already in touch with them so that we prepare our bulls and they come and buy from us. So I don't have to go looking for the market. Right now we are still looking for market, but the projection ahead, within a few months' time, I will not be looking for market. The market will be looking for me.
Wow, well, that is interesting. Maybe as a farmer, of course, you hinted about different challenges. Maybe to the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, what is your word? Maybe to the President, because I understand the water is a problem here. What do you have to tell the President or the authorities?
Needed if I have to become a large commercial farmer. I need to pump the water deeper. I need to use solar pumping, or I need to have a bigger valley dam. Right now, I have a tiny little one which I dug using manual labor. It needs even desilting, The labor to distillate it is hard, and this is not only for me, but all the farmers in the district.
Hey.
We need water, we need more valley dams. At least if we can have one valley dam per village. Or we also have irrigation, but irrigation we have to pump the water from underground, and it's not very far. We can do that. We can use solar pumping, we can use solar irrigation, and that will be very, very helpful. We need tractors for plowing. Ministry of Agriculture, sometimes I see on TV you are distributing tractors, but where I am, I don't see the tractors. The tractors which I can see there with red number plates, I have to pay 200,000 shillings to plow 1 acre. Is that government donation? Is it government provision, or is it to an individual? If it is to an individual, can I also have one? Ministry of Agriculture, they are caricides, the drugs for the animals. We still don't see them. We still have to go to the shops to buy. Are they there? Are they distributed by government or not? When we plant the maize, the armyworm comes as soon as the maize is 1 foot above, and we have to get some funds to go and buy the pesticides. I have to admit and say, for one time I think last year, I had a bottle, a liter which came from the sub-county, that it was for spraying armyworm, and it had come from government. I was so happy that for once I have also got 1 liter of pesticide from government. But that was last year. All the previous years, not there. And it was not enough. 1 liter for 20 acres. It couldn't spray. I think 1 liter could have sprayed only 5 acres. It was not enough. Please do more. Consider us if we have to be commercial farmers. I really want to expand my farm so that it also produces better meat, and I can also be an exporter for the meat. Thank you. I look forward to meeting even Mr. President. I am here waiting for you at this farm. Minister of the Supplementary Farming Project, you know I have been on that project the last year. You trained me. I am ready to set off right now.
Dr. Jole Nyeko, Eden Farm, here in Namiriango Village, Chiriandongo District, Chigumba County. So I'm going to be visiting this farm frequently to see the developments and continue watching the Farmers Hub, and subscribe, comment, and share this information to whoever who wants to